tenors.
On behalf of MCPS and the class of 2018, I would like to welcome Archbishop Brody, Superintendent Byrd, all the assembled priests, faculty, staff, parents, relatives, and other distinguished guests to this ceremony. Your support for these students is nothing less than exemplary. And to the graduating class of 2018, congratulations. This is your funeral. Because graduation is a lot like death. After all, both are just transitions. We move from high school to college, or to the workplace, or somewhere else entirely. And death is a transition from an earthly life to, hopefully, a heavenly one. We can't know for sure, and that's why death is scary. But it's also why graduation is a bit scary. Adult life is scary, because if you haven't noticed, none of us are adults. But when someone graduates or dies, the main emotion we feel is not fear, it's sadness. We mourn the loss of a friend in both cases, whether from this plane of existence or simply from this community. So why are we celebrating? We're all decked out in dresses and fancy hats to be mourned? Obviously not. This ceremony is a celebration of our success in high school, and it's a send-off to the rest of our lives. That's why it's called a commencement exercise. It's scary and it's sad, but it's also happy and hopeful. And by the way, that should apply to funerals too. Many focus just as much time on celebrating the life the person had and the one they're about to start. So a graduation, like a death, is just as much a joyful occasion as it is a sad one. Anyway, here's the point. This is an emotionally complicated event, and that's good. You might think sadness and happiness are opposites, and a few theology classes will tell you that sadness is just the absence of happiness. But those aren't quite right. We have both of them right now. Some people don't want things to be complicated. They only want happiness or excitement or contentment. But for those people who have one goal in life, let me tell you, that's not good for you. How would you feel if I tried to describe you with one adjective? If you were the funny one, the outgoing, the strong one, the caring one, the talented one, the romantic one, the smart one, the fast one, the shy one, the exciting one. All of those are good adjectives, and some of them probably fit you pretty well, but doesn't it feel constraining? If my identity is rooted in a single adjective, that limits what I can do, because it limits who I can be. Life is full of nuances that we miss if we only focus on the obvious. It's more complicated than it seems, and that's not a bad thing. Complexity is good. So, they told me I should give you a challenge, and here it is. Cultivate the complexity in your life. Find a balance, branch out, do what you love, try everything, diversify your portfolio. Whatever you want to call it, do it. If your first instinct on a Friday night is to go party with your friends, do that. But also take some time for yourself and enjoy the quiet peace of a relaxing night in. If you're more like me and Friday nights mean music and a book, do that. But also make an effort to go out and be with people, I guess, if you want to. Everyone has limits, so you don't have to do everything. Large and personal crowds are not for me. But don't stop yourself, because you might love it. Eventually, after trying this, that, and the other, you'll realize what works for you, and guess what? It won't just be one thing. Some of them might not seem to go together, but you'll end up with a whole system of characteristics that make up who you are and what you like to do. And it'll be different for every person. You are all responsible for your own complexity. You'll find the right balance that keeps you going. Most people will tell you to find something you love and devote yourself entirely to it. This is not that speech. Find all of the things that you love and work for each of them, but not to the exclusion of the rest of the world. If you've never tried a certain thing before, but you think you might like it, do it. If you second guess yourself and stop before you start, you'll never get anywhere. Here's something else this speech is not. This is not a recipe for happiness. I don't have the authority to get up on this stage and tell you what will make you happy. And even if I did, I'm not not sure I would want to. Happiness matters the most in relation to other emotions. It's meaningless without the context of love, or joy, or sorrow, or anger. Don't try to be happy all the time. Enjoy it while it's there, but losing it is not the end of the world. It will come back eventually. Don't try to force it. The best way to avoid happiness is to focus on it too much. Because if you leave anything constant for too long, it loses its importance. We gotta mix it up. Part of the reason some of us are so eager to leave school is because this is all we've done for 13 years. Sure, we'll miss it later, but that's the case with everything. The grass is always greener on the other side. All we can do about it is enjoy how green our own lawn is, and maybe ask our neighbor what product he uses. Some might say not to rock the boat, but the boat's gotta go somewhere. Put down plenty of roots, but be free to sway in the wind. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but get plenty of eggs and plenty of baskets. Find people who love you for who you are, but who also encourage you to be better. Nothing lasts forever, but nothing's supposed to, so let's enjoy it while it's here. Because see, here's the truth about life. Life is meant to be lived. The ups, the downs, and even the in-betweens. Embrace all of it. The negative and the neutral are just as much a part of you as the positive. They carry a unique value, and without them, the positive loses its value. So as you walk off the stage onto the path of your life, don't forget to stop and smell all the flowers, not just the roses. Thank you.